Alright, let's start off to the second half of today's matches. 3D Max just rolled MIBR in a clean 2-0 to start their IEM Cologne run, and honestly this one wasn't even close. The French squad looked sharp, composed and totally in control, and now they're just one win away from stage 2. We kicked things off on train, and this was supposed to be MIBR's chance to punch back, but 3D Max had other plans. It was Lucas Lucky leading the charge with big multi-kills that just tore open MIBR's defences. Every time MIBR looked like they might get some footing, Lucky would just shut the door. Even though MIBR's new guy Nix had some moments, it wasn't enough, and 3D Max ran away with the map, closing out 39 off a strong T side showing. Then we moved to Ancient, and yeah, this was a demolition. Straight up, 3D Max came out swinging, stomped their way to a 10-2 lead on the T side, and never really looked back. MIBR did grab the pistol after the half, which delayed the inevitable bit, but once 3D Max had some cash to work with again, it was wraps. They closed it 13-5, clean as you like. So now that's 3 straight 2-0s for 3D Max over MIBR this year. They're seriously holding that tier 1 gatekeeper role right now. If you want to get to the next stage, you pretty much got to pass them. And MIBR still struggling to find answers despite flashes from Insani and a decent debut from Nyx. Next up, 3D Max will face the winner of Heroic versus NIP for a spot in stage 2. That'll be the real test. Okay, next up we have FaZe, who just shut down Big in a solid 2-0 to kick off their IEM Cologne run. And what makes it even better is that this was broky's first game back after 2 months on the bench. That's not a bad way to return at all. So we start on Big's map pick, Inferno, and to be honest, they're probably still kicking themselves over this one. They won both pistols, had Crimbo absolutely farming with multi-kills and clutches, and still only got 7 rounds. I mean, that kind of says it all. Crimbo was insane individually, winning a 1v2, but it wasn't enough. Rain kicked off hot for FaZe, sitting at 10-2 by round 7, and Frozen was just a nightmare in the second half. He even clutched a 1v3 on 1 HP, actual demon. FaZe locked it down 13-7. Then on Ancient, it just continued. Carrigan opened with some sharp entries, Frozen had another big 3k early, and FaZe pulled off a 3-5 to cap off a dominant 9-3 half. Even after Big won their 4th pistol of the series, they couldn't do much with it. FaZe just shut the door, went up 12-5 and ended it soon after. Frozen again clutching up, and broky topped the board for this map. Not bad at all for someone who's just come off a long break. Speaking of broky, he seemed super chill in the post-match, talking about how the break helped him reset and that it felt good to just be back playing again. He even joked that watching FaZe with Simple made him think, damn, these guys suck. That kind of energy is what FaZe has needed. So yeah, FaZe look refreshed, broky's back with a smile, and Big, well, they dropped down to the lower bracket and now have to win out at their home event just to survive. Not really ideal. And does this mean FaZe are serious contenders? I'm not too sure, time will tell. Then we have Nip vs Heroic. And it was a bit of a fun one on this one. Went the full 3 maps, and we got to see xKacpersky make his debut for Nip, and the guy delivered. This one started on Nuke, and it was a bit of a mess early on. Fast paced, scrappy rounds, but Heroic did enough to edge out a 7-5 half. Nilo had a nice little 1v2 in the pistol that pushed it to 10-5, and it looked like they were cruising. But NIP clawed their way back in with some impact opping from Wrinkle, and suddenly it was close again. In the end though, Heroic closed it out with a couple of clutch half-by wins and a 2v4 post-plant to take the map 13-10. And then we go to Overpass. Now, Overpass was Heroic's pick, but yeah, it definitely didn't go to plan. Snappy just started cooking. His T-side calling was super aggressive, kept Heroic off balance the whole map. He also pulled his weight fragging wise, finishing with a 1.17 rating, and it just felt like NIP always had control of the pace. 13-9, and we're going to a decider. Ancient started with another strong T-half from NIP. They went up 8-4 and just never looked in trouble from there. xKacpersky had some big moments again, including the final round where he closed it with a clean flank, and overall the guy looked calm all series. Topped the board on Nuke, consistent across all 3 maps. A very impressive debut under pressure from xKacpersky. Also got to mention Wrinkle. He quietly dropped a plus 20 KD across the series. He was just super sharp with the op all night. So NIP Move on to face 3D Max for a stage 2 spot, while Heroic get bumped down to the lower bracket where they will fight MIBR to stay alive. xKacpersky looks like he fits right in, so yeah, let's see if the momentum carries into the next one. And to finish the day, we have Liquid vs Pain. Liquid honestly made this one look easy. 2-0 sweep and not much stress in either map. It started off looking competitive. Liquid went up 4-1, but Pain bounced back with 5 straight to take the lead. But then Ultimate dropped a huge multi-kill that kind of flipped the half. Liquid evened it up and then locked it down on defense to close Mirage 13-7. This was also the start of Ultimate having a great series. Solid impact plays the whole way through. Dust 2 is where Twistzz really stepped up. He was cracking heads early with some clean doubles, and Liquid just never really lost control after going up 9-3 at the half. Pain did try to fight back, but to no avail. Liquid closed that one out. So overall, Liquid looked way more structured this time. Maybe the new coach Flashy is already making an impact. Nerds even said pre-match this is the first time it feels like they're building an actual identity. As for Pain, they're now crashed out of Fisher Playground early and are down in the lower bracket here too. So something isn't clicking right. Liquid will play FaZe, so that should really be a fun one. And if we also look at the current bracket standings for tomorrow's matches, we have 3 games from the upper quarterfinals. We've got FaZe versus Liquid, 3D Max versus NIP, Gamer Legion versus Virtus Pro, and then in the lower round we will have MIBR versus Heroic, Complexity versus Tyloo, and Bait versus FlyQuest. So yeah, if you want more CS2 recaps and updates, I'll keep dropping them as the event goes on. Drop a like and a sub, I'd really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for watching. Take care.